I think seeing a big rack on a blacktail is really impressive. It's not what you hunt for, but it's what you love seeing. If, for whatever reason, I could never hunt internationally ever again, I would hope I would always be able to blacktail hunt. There's two different kinds of deer that we see that get old on this ranch, and there's ones that fork and get to be wide and you get 4x4s, and then there's these huge forks. And this is one of those. He's old. This buck is holding on these 3 does here, and now I'm hoping that the next generation will be able to come in and breed these does.
In the heart of Napa Valley, where the golden sun kisses the rolling hills and the vines bear the promise of fine wine, there exists a place of natural wonder. Welcome to the ranch, where the tapestry of fall unfolds in all its glory. As autumn transcends upon the ranch, the air is filled with the whispers of change. The trees, once lush and green, now ignite in a vibrant symphony of red and gold. Amidst these vineyards and valleys, the elusive blacktail deer roam the land. Blacktail deer are unique because they are able to inhabit everything from rainforest to mountainous terrain, showcasing their remarkable adaptability to a wide range of ecosystems and making them a truly versatile and resilient species.
That's a nice deer. I can't believe I'm not going to shoot that deer. You know why we're not going to shoot it? Because he's still young. He's still young, and I want him breeding. That is a beautiful buck.
Managing the land is a crucial role for the future of this cherished sanctuary. Ed's decision to pass on that young buck was not just about the thrill of the hunt. It was about preserving the remarkable genetics that have evolved on the ranch over generations. In the wild ballet of the rut, where bucks and does chase and engage, each deer plays a vital part in shaping the genetic legacy of the herd. With only 2 tags annually, selective harvesting becomes paramount. It's a delicate balance, a harmonious dance between conserving the best and ensuring the herd's health.
Kind of mid-morning now, and deer are going to be getting up out of their morning beds and moving into their afternoon beds now. So we're going to go get up on top of this hill here. Hopefully we'll find a buck in here. If not, we'll be up high and we can do some glassing. So just kind of slowly work our way up and see what we see. He was tall.
I hadn't seen that deer.
No. He's still in velvet. That deer's still in velvet in September. There he is. There's two of them. That's a big fork. Give him time. Oh, look at you. Give him time. That's a beautiful deer. He's got some nice mass on him. He's got some huge height on him. I mean, really tall. I don't know if it'll be anything other than a fork, but he's a nice deer. Now you can feel why these deer are in here. You feel all that cool air coming up out down here underneath these bay trees. And they're just, it's a great place for beds here. That cool air comes up, keeps them cool in the morning. You know, it's going to be warm today. It's not going to be hot like it was earlier this week. I think you're going to see a lot more deer running around. You know, initially we thought last week was really going to be the start of rut, and it was going to be early, and man, Cody, my cameraman, arrived, and it was 116 degrees. Hottest temperatures on record for our region, and that really shut all the animals down. I mean, it stressed them out, and I think it pushed the rut a little bit. But this cool weather has come in starting yesterday. Cooler anyways, more normal temperatures, high 80s, and then, you know, 50s at night. And so these deer are starting to move around a lot more all of a sudden. And the rut we really saw the rut in action start yesterday. I mean, yeah, we'd seen a few bucks fighting, which is relatively rare for these blacktail in this region. The ones here in this area that I'm familiar with, I maybe see them spar each other 2 or 3 times in 30 years. So it's kind of cool to see that. So folks, you'll probably notice there's a deer fence here. That fence is to prevent deer from the interior portion of the ranch coming into the vineyard. unfortunately, due to some very funny little laws here in the state of California to do with people's roads and so on and so forth, we can't actually put one on the other side of the vineyard here because there's a public road and we can't put a deer fence there, so deer do come in here. This year we've got a new vineyard coming up, and they're actually tearing into it pretty badly, and it's a little concerning at this point. But we'll come in here, we'll shoot the bucks. I think we'll probably try this year, take 4 or 5 bucks out of this little spot. It's about 100 acres of fruit. It's part of farming, but you know, without it, you'd have every deer on the interior of the ranch down in this vineyard, and you wouldn't have a crop left, so it keeps most of them out. That's the one that was sitting on that hill. Yeah, look at him. Very pretty little forked horn. Decided to come in here and have a look, and in this wind, the deer that's in the vineyard is going to still want to be out of the wind, and you know, oftentimes they'll be right here in this coyote bush or back there in those trees. And sure enough, we drove right down here, made a turn, and we're coming right along the vineyard here of Syrah, and I said, they're going to be right in that coyote bush oftentimes. And we look up, and here he comes, jumps out of the coyote bush, runs right up to where I'm standing, and right over the cattle guard. And he's full of fruit. So he's not going to be eating our fruit anymore, and that makes us very happy, and we're going to eat him, which makes us even happier. He's been in the vineyard eating our grapes. He's not a terribly big deer, antler-wise, obviously. Not a very, very old deer by any means, but a deer that nonetheless is legal and has been eating our fruit. Kind of what we do here. If you're gonna hunt on the inside of the ranch, in the main portion, you also have to hunt inside the deer fence. Any legal deer is good. We just try to get rid of them. We're really happy to take this guy. He's gonna be some great meat, plenty of good meat there, good neck shot. All the rest of them is gonna taste delicious. No stress on him. I'm going to eat really well tonight. We got to fill this whole thing out. And we'll attach a portion of it to the deer's antlers, and then the other portion take down with the head, either the butchers or California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they'll sign off on it. 5:30 p.m. A zone north. You know, one of the things we try to do is talk about taking old deer and all the rest of that. And that's very important. I would say that there are exceptions to that. In this case, this is a younger deer. And the reason we took it is because it's in here eating the fruit. There's a lot of very big deer here. We're leaving them alone. They're going to breed. They're going to get older, and that's exactly what they should do. And they're in the rest of the ranch, and they're fine there. But here you've got the business that pays for the rest of that. This 10% of this land, farming and agriculture. The other 90% is upland and graze. And this 10% pays for that 90% to stay that way. So taking a few deer, regardless of age, as long as they're legal, out of this vineyard helps to keep the rest of these animals in the back in open space, so it doesn't turn into housing, so it doesn't turn into something other than what it currently is. We will take 3, maybe 4 deer out of the interior of the ranch. That's it. Whereas inside the deer fence, we might take 5 or 6 deer, but they're all inside the deer fence eating grapes. And if you don't understand what that means, here's a cluster of Syrah right here, the way it's supposed to look. It's almost ready to harvest. It's going to turn into some delicious wine. It's taken an entire year to grow. These vines are quite old. They've taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of man hours, thousands of man hours in their life to get them to where they are now. And if they're taken care of, they'll last for many more years, these vines, and continue to provide income and jobs and all the rest of those things. I appreciate that the deer has to eat too. There's plenty of places on this ranch for the deer to eat. The vineyard is not one of them. And I want to eat too, right? I want food, and that's food. We pulled the back straps off and the tenderloins, and right now we're going to work on the tenderloins before we go back out and do some more deer hunting. Got a little bottle of wine for dinner. My buddy Carlo makes that rain. And then we've got some decent wine here as well that we're going to use making the marinade. So usually I like to let deer meat hang a little bit. Wild game meat in general should hang a little bit if you can. I don't want that ability. I want to eat these now. So this deer has been eating grapes, and we're going to use finished product grape to soften it up. The alcohol and the acid and the tannins that are in red wine are great for breaking down protein. Make it soft. We've got our tenderloins here that I pulled out a little earlier. And we're just going to prep the meat a little. We'll just put these in here, back in the plastic bag that I had them in. And we'll take some of this wine. And for both those tenderloins, it's going to take about a half a bottle. And that's okay, that's not wasted. And right now it's about 3:45, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We won't cook these for another 3-4 hours. If you can leave them overnight, that's even better. Pulled out all the air so that we've got good contact with all the meat. We'll put it in the fridge. We'll get back here probably about 7 o'clock. We'll pull it out, let it come out and still stay in the wine, come up to temperature, room temperature, and for about a half an hour. Then dry it all off, put our dry rub on it, light up the barbecue, and then really simple. Barbecue the meat, barbecue the asparagus, cut these up, patty pans, summer squash, cut those up, barbecue all of it. You could serve a meal like this, if you do it right, you could serve it in any fine dining restaurant in the world and you wouldn't be kicked out of the kitchen for it. So good wine, good food, the land provides. Just got to know how to know where to look and how to do it. Now we're going to cook over open flame. So what's really important with cooking over open flame, yes, we've got some olive oil on here. We don't want a whole lot of olive oil, just enough to sort of coat it. Go light on the salt. There's not a lot of fat in this. What little fat there is, you don't want to pull it out on the grill by adding salt. And a little onion powder. I don't have any secrets. This is not very complicated. And now we will just leave that right over here. And we're gonna wait. I prefer to use mesquite, just in general. That is good eating. We're getting out a little late. This is exactly sunrise, and I don't mind. Everything should pretty much be in its morning bed by now. But if it's not, it's walking to it. Cody opens another gate, and we head into the ranch this morning. Even the cows are up there trying to get that morning sun. There's the big one.
Good deer.
Yeah. You know who that is?
Is that buck we seen yesterday?
Uh-huh. Young one at the back leg. Because if that's the one from the back leg, that means that we saw yesterday. That means that he's been pushed down and out of there by a bigger buck than him, which is what we were hoping for today. That's why we backed out. We didn't go push real hard. But let's go up there real quick. We'll just drive up there. There's a little road right here, and we'll double check that. Right up there, that's where he went over. He's gonna be just on the other side under some trees or something, hopefully. one that initially brought us up here, right? So we saw the little one. The one that we came up here for is a big 3x3. But he's young. What I saw there was a big mature buck, the one that was stopped right here, that I didn't even know was up here. It was a toad.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah. And then the little one, the medium-sized one followed him out, but the toad was right there. That was an old, mature buck. You know, like, if we're smart, what we do is we back out. We haven't pushed him hard, and we'll see him tomorrow in the morning again. I've learned not to chase deer on this ranch. If you're hunting by yourself, your best opportunity is stealth and timing. That right there is what we're looking for. So he's over, there's one over here. Look at the size of that compared to the other ones. That's him. That's him. That's that same thing as before. Okay, this is where he lives then. He's been around here for the last week or so. My bet, he came out last night that way. And he's gonna walk right up this road and he's gonna bed. See all these little trails in here? They get into this cover. I think he stepped off the road back there. He's in this cover. He's working his way towards where there's a bunch of it. Should be off the front here and off the nose. If he's in here, we're not finding him. Man, look how thick all this stuff is. There they are. That's a big buck. Big forked horn. Turn your head for me, baby. But dude, he's a 3x2.
Yeah, he is. I just seen
That's a different buck.
that. That other one was a 3x2 though, wasn't he?
No.
I thought he was.
He's a 3x3. Perfect. That's a different deer. How big is that deer? God, it's hard for me to tell in this light. When I was driving in this morning in the dark, I had to throw on my fog lights because the ground fog was so heavy. It'll be good, it'll make quieter walking today. Oh, we found all kinds of stuff yesterday. We found a big 3x2 that we couldn't get on, which was frustrating. Found one of the biggest tracks I've ever seen on the ranch. Then we found in the last light, and it was just legal shooting light, yes. For me to make a good judgment, not good light. And he looked exactly like a deer we'd already seen. And when we got back and looked at some of the photos, it turns out he's kind of like the granddaddy of the deer we've already seen. And he's got eye guards, he's got this mask, but he's only a fork with a little club on one side. And that is, you know, genetically, I mean, he's very cool looking, but we're trying to get more of these deer with big bodies and also kind of this big, we love that round, I love looking at that big round mass and tall as well. So trying to get a deer like that, I don't want him breeding as much as I want the 3x3 that was in there breeding. So we'll go try and find him potentially today. Also, last night in well past shooting light and just driving around looking at this, that, and the other thing, and we're caught in the headlights on maybe one of the bigger deer that we've seen on the ranch, period, and certainly the largest deer we've seen on this trip. You know, plan today, I'm gonna drive back into where we've seen the big 3x2, the tracks of the other big deer and the one that we saw last night that was huge, and see what we see out in the open, maybe make a couple of stalks if we see something that we want to go follow or go run after. These are our three guys from yesterday. Just look at the body on him.
Yeah, he's big body covered, tall.
And just a fork too.
Hmm.
That thing in front of him is just a little spike. Now there's a doe. And that spike's chasing her around. All three of them are chasing. Let's go ahead and get over there. I think that's those three boys from yesterday. And who we want is the big cousin that runs off the back by himself. And the only reason I think these three are still here is because that big boy's not quite there right now. And if he shows up, he's gonna run them off.
Got one little eye guard. Oh, he splits. He's a 3x2. That's that buck from yesterday. Looking back. Go and see, looking back. All the deer looking back.
He's not real thick. He's big bodied. He doesn't have a lot of mass on him. Ooh. Look at that. You know what? He's young. He's tall, but he's young. You see him next to the size on the other one? He's only a little bit bigger, and that other one is only about that's a 4 or 5 year old deer. That's a young deer. Just leave that thing alone. He's not that old.
Ed, right here. Look, front. Dude, that's a big deer, man.
Oh, no way. No way. Yeah. That's the one we saw last night. Come on. It's a huge fork. That's our boy from last night. Let's get a look at him. Get a look at him real quick. yeah, that's him. Oh yeah, that's definitely him. Oh, look at him turn towards us. Yeah. Let me get a range on him real quick. .222. It's basically dead on. Yes! That is a big old deer. Nice! Told you there was another buck down in there, the way they were looking back. Good meat hunting right there, baby. 222 yards. That is a big old buck. So there's two different kinds of deer that we see that get old on this ranch, and there's ones that fork and get to be wide and you get 4x4s, and then there's these huge forks. And this is one of those. He's old. You can see there's another fork that we just let go by that's younger, skinnier, and there's a beautiful 3x3. This buck is holding on these 3 does here, and now I'm hoping that the next generation will be able to come in and breed these does. Maybe that 3x3 will get a chance in here with these does, and that's going to be great. Beautiful morning. This was the plan. This was the idea. See if we saw him back in here last night. Cody and I were just sitting here just wondering, let's pull up a little further. And sure enough, this guy was right here. Yes! What a beautiful morning. God. All those bucks we passed on. That is an old forked horn. He will have been born before the fire in 17. I could see the age on him from here. Look at how old he is. Look at the mass he's holding on to and the big black horns. There we go. That's a proper old deer. That deer is 9, 10 years old right there. Oh, thank you, man. Look, even his body's starting to lose some condition, actually. And he's well worn in his, look how worn those are. Look at that big hoof. You know, this is what you look for in a really old deer. He's got some great fighting scars on him. He's gray all up here in his head. He's gray here. He's got knobs coming all the way up the back. He's got great mass to him. He's well outside the ears. Ears are all chewed up. When they breed and they get really big and old like this, they'll look just like a mule deer. This will just be the 1, 2, and then coming out here will be 1, 2 more. You know, he'll be a 4x4 with eye guards like this. He's a beautiful deer. I mean, really beautiful. I feel very fortunate to have the ability to do this. If, for whatever reason, I could never hunt internationally ever again, you don't know what's going to happen. I would hope I would always be able to blacktail hunt. I really like it. I've hunted whitetail, nice deer hunting, but for me, spot, stalk, walk, creep, come up with plans, and sometimes even track deer. That's really cool. So for me, this is the ultimate.
As hunters, we all recognize our responsibility to manage this land. not just for the thrill of the hunt, but to leave it richer, more vibrant, and teeming with life for generations yet to come. This is our legacy, our commitment to the land, and our shared responsibility in preserving the natural world.
Trying to get young Cody here his first blacktail. He's got himself a tag. And we've picked out a really old buck. Now, since I'm guiding him, I can't really pay attention to camera work, so forgive me. There we go. Cody, well done.
I just did that to get us ready for the Alps.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted him to get up higher, so we had to climb up here and get him.
Oh, that's him. That's him, right? Right there.
Thank you, buddy.
He's not getting up.
Would have done no good, I wouldn't look at him.
Beautiful shot, Cody. Perfect shot. Oh, yeah. That is a monster, Cody. Dude.
First blacktail.
That is a huge,
That's a pretty
huge.
deer.
That's a huge buck, man.
That's a nice deer. Yeah, that's a pretty deer.
Well done.
Got split eye guards.
Yeah.
Thick. Look how he's palming.
Oh, yeah. He's massive. You see how tall he is?
Yeah.
He's so tall. No, this is what you call a 8-9-year-old buck. Predates the fire. I mean, it's just everything about this deer is beautiful.
Yeah.
And Cody, congratulations on your first blacktail.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I'm glad I was with you when I killed it.
Oh man, this is awesome. Look at the cool stuff on him.
He splits off right there.
Oh yeah. Well, we're losing the light. Let's get a couple of pictures and get him down the mountain before it gets too dark. Well done, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Well done.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh, well done. Nice shooting.
Beautiful deer. Beautiful.
Couldn't ask for a better place to be in either. There's San Pablo Bay right there. Kind of one of the more beautiful spots.